So real quick, I wanted to go over how I modified my controller settings in order to alleviate shoulder fatigue and incidentally ended up improving my score. So in the settings box, there is a controller section where you can make modifications to the positioning of your controller relative to your hand. So obviously the default for this is 0, and just holding my hands out with the controllers in there, you can see that they are about like this. So I'm rotating, you know, I mean, you can see what I'm doing. I'm rotating the controller. I played with this for probably about an hour. I started out with this way too high at, not there, but I started it off at about 50. And that puts that, if you're just holding the controllers in the exact same way, just normally, the way that I was doing it before, it puts it so that it almost kind of extends directly out from your forearm, which I thought was going to be a good plan, but that didn't quite work out. It kind of ended up just making me overuse my shoulders in the opposite way that I was with it at the default of 0. So I kind of dialed it back and forth a little bit. This one seemed to be the only one that really made sense. Changing anything out like these, no matter how drastically I changed these, didn't seem to really make any kind of a difference. Like just holding them regularly out, rotating in compared to that, let's put that onto an extreme. That's really not much different. I mean, I think all that does, I mean, I didn't even try it in game because I didn't see it make a difference in my hand. I'm guessing it pushes the saber out from the default position. I couldn't tell you. So I focused just on the rotation ones because no matter what, you could see a massive change in how you do the settings. So anyway, long story longer, I ended up settling on 20. And so it's not straight out the forearm, but it's also not held like a straight bar or a sword or something like that. And that ended up being pretty well. It took, you know, it didn't take as long to get accustomed to it as I thought that it might. I basically, you know, tested everything on country rounds because it's a good all-round expert plus song that's not too difficult but not too easy. And once I settled on 20, I got like 3 new high scores in a row as I got, you know, started out with it in a much more comfortable position, and it making a kind of, I don't know, it takes a lot of the stress off of the shoulders. Now, if you're like me and you use Beat Saber as kind of like your primary method of exercise, because it's, for me anyway, it's replaced the treadmill, it's replaced the spin bike, it's replaced jogging. You know, all my cardio is now done in Beat Saber. But if you're also like me and you're a little bit older and you have a history of shoulder injuries, then you definitely want to try to find a way to alleviate the shoulder fatigue. And once I kind of got this settled in where I liked it and it's doing good and, you know, it felt more natural and I got accustomed to the new position, I noticed that, like I said, my scores went up, my accuracy went up, my general ability to hit the targets, you know, it was like almost as if I got like an artificial speed boost from it just because it was easier, and it didn't reduce the amount of exertion that you put into the game. So going back to my point, with exercise, you don't suddenly lose the calorie burn that you would be getting from playing the game. Instead, it just transfers a lot of the motion from the shoulder to the triceps and biceps. So that ended up being a pretty good. I don't know. It's a benefit. I'm using major muscle groups, at least, you know, major upper body muscle groups, instead of all of the fine muscles and tendons that are in the shoulder. That I'm concerned that I've been doing this for 2 months now, and I love it, but I don't want to destroy my rotator cuff. So anyway, hopefully that helps some of you guys out. If you've noticed pain or just want to generally improve your game, this might be a way to do it. So again, that's settings, settings, controllers. Play with everything, see what works for you. Rotation X at 20 is what worked for me. All right, hope that helps. Thanks.